Welcome to T's Voices, telling the stories of the people in our NHS community.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Allied Health Professional podcast. So if you don't know already, I'm Alison Kerr and I'm with my fantastic co-host, Jennifer Trafford. How are you doing?
Hi everyone. Good today. I'm excited today actually because we are changing things up a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah.
So as you know, in the past, me and Alison have been running this podcast on our own and I think we've become pretty good at the editing side and things like that. You more so than me at the moment because you've been picking it up. However, we've been invited to come and do the podcasts alongside Radio Stitch at North Tees, which was absolutely fantastic because these guys obviously are the gurus of editing and making sure that we're doing this stuff right. So I'm quite excited because this is our first podcast alongside Radio Stitch.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? As soon as Comms reached out and said, look, we like your podcast and what you're doing, but we're now working as a group. We've got these fantastic skills with Andrew and Elliot over at Radio Stitch, and we can now work as group, as T's Voices. So we've been doing it a whole year. I think we've probably learned a lot about our AHPs and we've raised the profile, which is what we intended to do. I think the impact has been, we've managed to get the AHPs engaged. I think there's a feeling of belonging and a feeling of being valued and being heard. And I think personally, I've learned a lot about myself too. I've learned a lot about how I speak, how I come across, that I need to pause more because I speak too fast. And it's been a really eye-opening experience and a fantastic way to move into a bit of a digital world.
I think that's been one of the things from the allied health professionals that have come and done the podcast with us as well, isn't it? That it's that thing of nobody likes to hear their own voice, but they've all said the same thing, haven't they? Because we've always sent them the unedited version and then the edited version, and hearing how they sometimes maybe speed up their speech and things like that has been really kind of eye-opening for them as well, because we're talking to patients and colleagues all the time. So, it's a skill that actually we need to learn. I've been over the moon by the fact that when we first started this, we were begging for people to come onto the podcast. We were like, oh, come on, honestly, it'll be fine. You'll love it. And now we actually get emails sent to us saying, we've got a project or we've got something coming up. Could we come onto the podcast? And I think it's just added a little bit of weight to the legitimacy of it, that people are now actually seeking us out and saying, we'd love to come and spend some time with you and come onto the podcast. So it's nice to see that actually our colleagues are starting to see the benefit of this as well, which is great.
Yeah, I think it's definitely having an impact, which is exactly what we wanted, wasn't it, when we started this little venture last year and we didn't know how it was going to go down. And I think we've obviously learned a lot as we've gone through the process. And you're right, there's people now who are like, I want to get on your podcast. And me and Jen love it when people want to come on the podcast because it means we don't have to hear our own voices and everyone gets a little bit more comfortable with hearing their voices. And I just want to say a big, massive thank you to everybody who's been on the podcast over the last year. I mean, we've had some fantastic guests. They have really sold their professions and themselves. And I think it shows massive bravery and really great leadership when people, go out of their comfort zone, come on things like podcasts and do videos for their profession, their community. And it does really highlight how the AHPs are moving forward in the digital space, but also becoming that community and how we sell ourselves and raise the profile.
Yeah, I love the fact that, and again, the same as you, Ali, thank you to everybody that's come onto the podcast. But what I've really loved when they come onto the podcast is we're starting to see that people are not seeing themselves as an isolated individual. They're seeing themselves as part of an allied health professional workforce. So our little communities, like Spout Dietary Team, I mean, that podcast was absolutely fantastic, listening to what them guys do. But they sometimes get lost in the bigger world of the NHS, and they came in feeling supported by the rest of the allied health professionals. So yeah, I agree. I think it's done what we hoped that it would. But things have changed for us as well over the last year as well, haven't they? I mean, our roles have adapted and changed and moved on in my case. So there's been lots of change over this last year.
So what's the latest buzz in the Strive and in the world of civility and human factors, Jen?
Oh, it's been absolute roller coaster this last year, learning this new role. I am loving it. And I'm loving the fact that, again, even though I've stepped out of that role of supporting the allied health professional students, I'm still keeping my foot in the world of allied health professionals, because when we come to civility, psychological safety, human factors, other allied health professionals are realising that this stuff's as important to them as it is to our nurses and doctors and medical staff. And so they're inviting me into whole teams. I've been to Langborough House at Gisborough and met up with the physios and the OT teams and the dietetics teams down there and done some training with them guys around human factors and psychological safety and civility, which was amazing because they were so engaged in it. And they all said the same thing, this stuff is really relevant to them. And these are high performing teams that know that they need to work on this stuff just as much as they do their technical abilities. So it was great that I was invited in to help just them get that last 1% of getting their teams right. And it's been great. Podiatry's invited me along. I came along to their day with the podiatry team and spent an afternoon with them. And again, it's great. So it's lovely that even though I've come out of that AHP PPF role into this, I'm still managing to keep my foot in the AHP world and learn some really, really important skills and see how they adapt to them professions as well. What about you? What's been changing in your world over the last year while I've not been with you?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I was just thinking back over the last year of all the things that we've done and the different areas, and it's quite mad when you actually look at it. And everyone will be thinking the same who's worked in this organisation, that there's so many things going on. I think just going back to what you were saying there, I think the gift that we have as being AHPs is that being able to link things together and link how that works with that and that works with that. And I think in the roles that we've had, because we've crossed over multi-professions, is linking that. I know why that civility would work and why that's working on the seeing the impact of that, even if it's something like job planning, which has been a big part of my life for the last few years, and how the job planning conversations and the civility around what's going on within those job plans, how people are communicating with a new system, with a new culture, really. And all that is just showing to me how everything links up across the organisation and what the Strive team and the learning development team are trying to achieve with staff. And I'm seeing the impact on the other side of it by being able to be like, right, we've got this new system. It's going to be a change for everyone. It's going to be transformational. How do we work with all different personality types, different systems and everything and link together? And I've been seeing that massively. I think job planning has been a big change for the allied health professionals and some of our other colleagues across the trust. And, we've really grabbed hold of it and ran with it. And now regionally we're being asked and nationally we're being asked for support because we're leading nationally. So I think that's fantastic. And as we get better with the system and we learn more about our services, it's going to get better and better, and we can actually make some really effective workforce planning and some changes. And I think our staff are now coming, okay, I get it now. Yous are listening to me. I'm going to make these changes. This is going to be the impact on the service. This is going to be what it means for individual staff. So the learning from that has just been so rich, which is amazing. We're doing a big piece of work now on internationally educated AHPs to look at the offer that we have, which is a fantastic piece of work that we've just wanted to get stuck into for ages. And it's come off the back of the International Conference for Nurses, Midwife and AHPs that happened early in the year with the education team. From that, it's led us on to having some really good conversations with our internationally educated AHPs and looking at the welcome pack, looking at our EDI policies and working with our HR teams as well to make sure the offer for them is as good as what our nursing colleagues are getting. So that's going to be fab. And we can maybe do a podcast on that in the future. We'll get some more international educated staff on board with it because they are really raring to go with the changes we can make.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds like an amazing bit of work, and well done for getting into that, because like you said, I know that's something that you've wanted to get your teeth into for a while, and trying to, sometimes it's just once you get your foot in the door, you're in, but it's getting the foot in the door. So well done for the work that you've done, and with all of the workforce planning and things like that you've put together. And the fact that you've been recognised for that on a national and regional level is just testament to the amount of work that you put into that. So from the rest of the allied health professionals, Ali, well done for the hard work that you've put into that. Well done.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the hard work came down to the individual AHPs and the AHP support workers themselves, because they have been absolutely fantastic. And a big shout out as well to Praj and Lucy, Debbie McEwen and Jo Clark as well, because we've been working so closely together as a group of professionals with the specialist nurses as well. And we've really been able to bring it forward because we've had the expertise from so many different people. But the AHPs have really, the leaders particularly, have had really heavy workloads, and they've took to the job plan and they've done it. So really the credit goes back to the staff, definitely. But yeah, a lot of hard work going on, and we've also been really trying to get involved with research a lot more. So we've been working with Nikki Cunningham and Joe Clark as well about how we get AHPs engaged with research. So there's a big conference going on in November. We're getting our AHPs, because surprisingly, loads of people are involved in research. We just don't sing about it. You know, people are doing PhDs, they've got their masters, they're doing it all these different things. And we're not really shouting about it. So the aim now is to shout about the research, get people involved. And we can do that as well via job planning, because we can see that what time's carved out on their job planning, what we expect of these teams within research. So, and I think research, yet again, is another area that's a bit, people hear the word and they're like, oh, I don't do it. People are doing it all the time. And we just need to recognise it, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's the plan for the podcast going forward, and what can people expect from us?
Yeah, so I think we've got some really good candidates lined up over the next 6 months. So we'll be able to have Alan on our podcasts quite regularly, and Alan McDonald will be helping us understand the changes with the restructure and also keeping us informed and up to date. Kirsty Jones is going to make a reappearance and come and do about her PhD journey, which will link nicely into the research that we were talking about. We've got radiology lined up. We've got some group teams coming over. So our paediatric dietitians, our IMSK team who work at North Tees site are going to do a podcast. So we really are getting the group voice now for AHPs. And that so far we've got a few different ones lined up, but then more people are coming in wanting requests and stuff. I think we've got another probably civility one lined up, have we not, Jen? Did you say you got in touch with someone about human factors as well?
Yeah, so we've got two of our consultants, Chris Bridle and Michael Kerr, who are our human factors gurus when it comes to, in fact, I'm going to spend some time with them today because they run a NOTS course, non-technical skills for surgeons, and that's running all day today. So I'm going to go and spend some time with them today. And they're going to come onto the podcast to talk more about human factors and what they are and how it affects everybody and not just surgeons and people in the theatre area. Actually, this human factors is relevant to everybody. We're going to invite Andy Heaney back to talk a little bit more about the OD work that they're doing, and again looking at group model and how that might be affecting people across the group model as well. So we're going to have him coming along and chatting as well. So yeah, lots of exciting things coming up for us. It's definitely picking momentum up and we're not losing it, are we?
Yeah, definitely keep going, and it's very exciting looking forward. I'm very excited about the year ahead. I think there's going to be a lot of challenges, a lot of changes, but a lot of opportunities and innovations to get people thinking about how we work. And being able to share that through podcasting as well is just fab. So before we close the podcast, I just want to say a big shout out to Carol Martin, Ruth Malanga and Alan McDonald for supporting with the AHPs, and just every AHP and AHP support worker in the organisation for their hard work. And please get involved if you want to be part of the podcast or part of any of the work we're doing. You're a credit to us, and we just want to say a big thank you.
Absolutely. I mirror everything that you've just said. Thank you to everybody that's come on before and everybody who's going to be brave enough to come on again in the future. And Ali's right, please do get in touch with us, whether it's to come onto the podcast, whether it's to talk about civility, psychological safety and human factors in your team and you need some support from that point of view, get in touch with us. The big thing we want to say is look after yourselves
and each other.
Thank you for joining us. Till next time, you've been listening to Tees Voices.